The injury news Man City fans will want to see, why Marcus Rashford is actually more consistent than Bruno, and how come only 10% of you are picking the second best defender? This is the Fantasy Football Cheat Sheet, where we give you up-to-date injury news, predicted lineups, key fixture analysis, who to transfer in and loads more, and all from official sources. And we work from home now as well, which is better for you because we always perform better at home. The treatment room. Now the cheat sheet team have had our feet up over Christmas, so I hope you haven't missed us too much. Remember, it's the FA Cup this weekend where Dream Team players will still be able to pick up points. The Premier League returns during next week on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, which will be our biggest focus of today's show. Okay then, what's the story regards injuries for game week 18? Joel Matip could be back for Liverpool's huge game against Man United in game week 19. With them not playing in game week 18 and likely to rest players against Villa in the Cup, this looks like a much needed winter break for Jurgen Klopp. Diogo Jota has also updated fans this week on his recent knee problem. Although not back out on the training pitch, we could be looking at an early February return for Jota. Who would have thought Liverpool fans would be desperate for him to return when they signed him? Not me. Man City's well-documented issues clearly weren't that bad, as they fielded a very strong side against Chelsea in the previous game week. Although KDB was up front, he looked very good, didn't he? That said, the return of Ederson and Ferran Torres still hang in the balance as they face Brighton at home. Kyle Walker and Gabriel Jesus, though, are back in contention. Sticking with that fixture, popular wingback Tariq Lamptey should also return for that one, although picking a Brighton defender might not be your brightest decision. Wolves will be up against Everton and it doesn't look good for my boys. Daniel Podence is the latest man to enter the treatment room, whose calf injury will keep him out for the next couple of games at least. He of course joins Raul Jimenez, Willy Bolly, Johnny and Marçal. Good. And moving on to one of the other 6 midweek games, Ross Barkley should return to the Aston Villa midfield when they host Spurs on Wednesday. Although their form suggests they haven't missed him, Villa did win 3 out of the 5 games where he's played 90 minutes. And finally, the injury news you've all been waiting for is Charlie Taylor. He came off against Sheffield United last week with a hamstring issue and he's set to miss their home game against the joint leaders Man United. Key fixtures. Can we not get a better name for this section or what? Let's pick apart 3 key games from game week 18. What are the numbers telling us? Who should we avoid? If we don't mention your club in this section, then stick around for our players to pick section, where we'll do our best to cover the other games where you can pick up some valuable points. Aston Villa v Tottenham. It's tough to call this one. Aston Villa have picked up 6 fewer points at home this season than they have away, but are in the top 4 when it comes to the form table. Then again, so are Arsenal. We usually dig into the history for this section. Chelsea fans, you don't know what that is, do you? But let's be honest, Villa are a different outfit altogether from the one we saw last season. But the boys from Birmingham have only beaten Spurs once in the last 19 meetings. And Kane and Son did score braces against them last year, but that's enough history. The home side's form is even more impressive when you realise Ollie Watkins hasn't scored in 8 games, despite him playing actually quite well. But us fantasy footballers need more than that, don't we? And Jack Grealish hasn't scored in the last 6 either. Spurs will be delighted that they're in the EFL Cup final, but won't be happy to find themselves in the bottom half of the form table. One thing that we can predict is that Jose is going to make this one like an office chair. Ugly. Man United v Burnley. The 2021 Premier League champions are up against Burnley in what is their game in hand over Liverpool. Have United not actually won it yet? Could have fooled me, some of the tweets I've been seeing. United are in scintillating form though, let's be honest. They've won 8 of the last 10 and their only drop points were against Man City and Leicester away. If you're a Dream Team player, Bruno Fernandes is only second to Harry Kane when it comes to Starman awards, while Marcus Rashford has the level most 7+ ratings. That shows an unbelievable level of consistency from the Englishman. Bruno's ownership is getting out of hand though, with over 70% of you now owning him. What on earth are you over 30% doing? That's what I want to know. From a Burnley perspective, they did win the last meeting between the sides with goals from Wood and Rodriguez, but that was their first win since that famous Robbie Blake wonder strike back in 2009. What a goal that was, by the way. Although this does have United win written all over it, Burnley have only lost 1 in their last 6. Don't write them off just yet. Wolves v Everton. It's been a tough Christmas for Wolves fans, let me tell you. We've won just 1 of our last 7 games, including throwing points away against Brighton last week. Only 4 teams have scored fewer goals than Wolves, which really highlights how much we miss Raul Jimenez. Wolves have, however, won 2 of their last 3 games against Everton and scored 3 goals in both of those victories. It's a bit different without Jimenez and Jota though, isn't it? Despite losing to the Hammers in game week 17, Everton had won their previous 4 games and are in the top 4 in the away form table. One glimmer of hope for Wolves fans is the fact that Calvert-Lewin only has 1 goal in his last 7. He needs more service than Bear Grylls on the blower in Bermuda. Right, let's get to it. 3 names we think you need to get in your sides this week. If you're playing Dream Team, remember 2021 brings with it 5 brand new transfers. So get using them now so you can move up your mini leagues. And just to remind you, 2 of our 3 picks in the last show, Marcus Rashford and Neil Maupay, both grabbed 2 goals over the festive period. Can we do it again? That's the big question. Kevin De Bruyne. How can we ignore KDB? He's obviously one of the best players in the league, but now he's part of a rare club, someone who plays further forward than his position on Dream Team. Pep employed him up front in their demolition of Chelsea, and it's the best they've looked all season. Up until that game, the Belgian had only managed 2 goals. He had more shots against Chelsea than he did against his previous 5 opponents. City have an unbelievable run of games in January, as you can see to my left, with their next 3 games being at home as well. João Cancelo. Only Raheem Sterling has more Dream Team points than João Cancelo this season from a City perspective. He's the 2nd highest scoring defender in the game, and he's only selected by 10% of you. Now, Pep loves a rotation of his defenders, but not when it comes to this lad. Since gaining fitness at the start of the season, he's only been rested once in the last 12 game weeks. And if you watch City, you'll know the man from Portugal gets forward quite a bit. Bukayo Saka. This man takes part in the battle for 11th place during the week. A win for Palace would see them jump 2 points in front of the Gunners. Arsenal's recent mini revival has a lot to do with Saka. 2 goals and 2 assists in 3 games is pretty good going. Now, we're not saying he's going to be up there with the likes of Bruno, but at just over 2 million on Dream Team and less than 2% of you picking him, he could be that little differential that we're all going in search of. Predicted 11s. Alright, so you're up to speed with who's available. Let's get some predicted lineups coming your way. Okay, that is all from us. Just before I leave you, I've got to remind you about our Dream Team fantasy football game. We've got a new and exciting subscription service for you this year called Dream Team Coach. It offers projected scores, fixture difficulty rating, projected price changes, and loads more if you're looking for that extra detail when picking your sides. It's available really easily in the app, and there's of course a link in the description below. Let us know what you thought of the show in the comments, tell your mates about us. We're working hard every week to bring you the most informative video on the internet for fantasy football, and we're doing it from home now as well. Let us know what your team's going to be. Have you got any obscure picks? Let us know how your season's going so far. That's all from me. I'll see you again next time.